and we engage them and govern with them. And when it comes to EFF, when the EFF wants to work with the people who are in government, they say, why is the EFF working with these people? But the same standard of accountability are not attached to these other parties that are working with well-known, proud, convicted criminals. So, Ekurhuleni is the same approach. We are voting for, we're going to take the speaker. Yes. We're going to take the speaker, and then we're voting a minority party for mayor, and then we'll participate in the executive of Ekurhuleni. The same thing in Johannesburg, we voted for the minority party. We want all positions that were held by IFP, they are ours. They must come to us. Anything of the IFP is ours. So that's what we're going to do in Johannesburg. Anything IFP, any MMC that was given to IFP, we want it. Housing is ours. Because we want to give our people houses. So we have no problem, we have no confusion. Not gave it opportunity, it shall be punished for that. We are no longer going to participate where we've got a voting and deciding power. We're not going to vote and not get involved. Because the people are becoming impatient with us on the ground. They are saying, show us what you have done. And the only way we can show our people what we have done is through governance. We have to participate in governance. National shutdown, 20 March. We don't apply for nothing. We can't apply for that which is given to us by the Constitution. It is our constitutional right to protest, and we shall protest on the 20th of March. Like Sharpeville, we're not scared of the state power. Let the state come with its power, will come with the mass power. So everything is going to come to a standstill. We don't want to see a single truck moving. We don't want to see a single train moving. We don't want to see a single bus moving unless it's taking people to the picket lines. The trucks and the trains, more in particular, Richards Bay. Those ones who are taking our minerals out of our country through Richards Bay. On the 20th, if you know what is good for you, park your trucks in your depots. Let the trains stop. Ramaphosa must step down with immediate effect. And our electricity must be returned. Victor is briefed to go and engage the NPA to charge Gwede. All of the evidence is there. If they don't want to charge Gwede, they must issue that non-prosecuting letter. And if they don't issue it, Victor knows the processes. We will approach the court to force them to issue that letter so that we can charge Gwede. There's no way, guys, there's no way with so much overwhelming evidence against Gwede that Gwede is not charged. And the evidence is not disappearing. If you go to Gwede's village, what is the Kala? Kala. Evidence is there on the crawls next to the animals, is cameras. You see the evidence is there. Gwede has never denied that Bosasa installed cameras. So why is the MPA waiting? So we want Gwede prosecuted. Because the arrogance of Gwede is what leads to the arrogance of the ANC. So much that it is now alleged that there is no deal you can make in mines and minerals energy without Gwede's wife. That's how Gwede has become arrogant and untouchable. Those who are involved in the minerals and energy strongly allege that Gwede's wife is the gatekeeper. And where does the wife of Gwede get such arrogance from? One of them was saying to me, allegedly, that she told him that the power lies at Gwede's house in this country. So we are not scared of Gwede. If these ANC thugs are scared of Gwede, we are not part of criminal. Gwede might have a good perspectives when it comes to coal, but it doesn't stop him from being a criminal suspect that must be accountable and answerable to the law enforcement. And Victor, a capable lawyer, is handling that. And that's how far we are. Thanks. I think I've dealt with all of them.
Yes, President. Thank you very much, President. We'll take the second and last rounds. Even those who are late will have an opportunity if they have a question. Second and last round, number 1, number 2, number 3, going, there. Number 4, and then here. Number 5. Thank you very much, President. Number 1.
Thank you very much. Touching on the issue of housing, there were black property developers who were complaining that where the DA governs, they don't get businesses or they don't get to build new establishments like new townships and stuff like that, because apparently, allegedly, the DA people do not want to move black people into their areas because they know that those people are going to vote for the ANC or the EFF. So just your thought on that. Thank you.
Number 2.
Mr. Malema, on the issue of Ekurhuleni, in the last council sittings of last year, your provincial chairperson, Nkululeko Dunga, was the candidate to be the mayor. But in your statement this time around, you say all of those whom were leaders in the legislatures, whom lost out in the PPAs, must resign, and leadership must be aligned with the leadership of the province. Are you saying that Nkululeko Dunga is now going to the legislature and will be resigning in Ekurhuleni? Who will you thus be fielding as the speaker candidate in Ekurhuleni? Thank you.
Number 3.
Thank you. It's Govan Whittles again from Newsroom Africa. In your initial statement, you had indicated you believe next year's elections will be a titanic moment for South Africa, where you do assume that the ANC will go below 50%. Will you be applying the same principle of voting for smaller parties to that strategy? Has the EFF now reached a possibility where it can get into a coalition with the ANC nationally? Is that something you're starting to think about even as a possibility? The decision to make this year's focus one of political education and voter registration, and then a call for intensive political education towards the EFF entering government, assumes that you're preparing your members to govern right now. Is there a need to upscale their capabilities, or you believe you already have the base to deploy across the country into government? And then could you tell us what kind of governing style the EFF, maybe just a short comment that we'll have. I wanted to check whether or not you believe that the ANC can end load shedding by the end of the year, as they've promised, and what you think of that promise that was made by the ANC most recently. And then with regards to the PA, if you get into government alongside of them with the minority party leading the government, how do you envision that working there? More directly, the PA is saying that they want housing in the city of Johannesburg. Is there going to be a standoff, or what do you think will happen there? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 4.
Okay. Mr. Malema, you said that on the 20th of March, there's going to be a shutdown, and you're going to ensure that nothing moves in the country. In as much as it's your right to protest, don't you think it would be everyone's right to choose to go to work? And you said on that day, the President of South Africa, Mr. Ramaphosa, must resign. If he doesn't resign, what happens beyond the 20th of March? And secondly, I get a sense that the EFF has got a disdain for ANC. Have you ruled out any possibility of working with the ANC in any municipality? Even in 2024, for instance, if they dip below 50% and they approach you, would you want to work with them? Have you ruled out any possibility of working with these guys?
Thank you. Number 5.
Thank you so much. My name is Lungani from Kasi FM. I'm covered by Samgelo on the question of Kulego Dunga, but the second question is that Nego Ruleni, we saw that councillors were trying, one of the items on the agenda last week was the issue of adjustment budget. And I want to understand if the EFF takes the speaker position and other perhaps MMC position, what are the immediate things that the EFF want to do? We know that there are potholes left, right and center. In Tembisa, some EFF councillors are trying for their wards to be clean, but the issue of resources and money is a problem in the city.
Thank you very much, President. I'm told that Mem Sophie Mukwena from the SABC has a question through Samgelo. If we could indulge it. Sure, Samgelo.
Mr. Malema, just director from Sophie here. Your reaction with regards to the high-profile visits to South Africa by Russia, USA, and the EU this week, particularly on the United States, on the Ministry of Finance being in the country, who also met various energy players within the country. Then lastly, from my side, on the city manager, Nekuruleni, she called the council sitting for tomorrow. The DA has threatened legal action, saying that she has no powers to call that particular council sitting. The EFF's posture with regards to the city manager taking over the reins and calling for council to sit on an urgent or special basis tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President.
Sorry, just one more question there regarding the shutdown. Do you anticipate resistance from the law enforcement agencies? I mean, do you think that there would be violence, that they would try to physically stop the EFF from blocking these major roads? What do you anticipate that would happen in that respect?
Thank you, President.
Thank you very much. We agree that everywhere else the DA governs, they put and isolate black people, in particular those who are found in business. So we will not be shocked that the black property developers are actually marginalized because of the anti-black policy of the DA. And our interest in taking over housing is to unlock the opportunities for our people, and also to reclaim the hijacked buildings in Johannesburg and convert them into people's houses and student accommodation. You can't take away the fact that there are a lot of institutions of higher learning that are found in Johannesburg, and we have a responsibility to house these children in a much more safer environment. We don't know, and sitting here, we didn't know that the PA wants housing in Johannesburg. We are not in a competition with the PA. We know what we want, and depending on how the negotiations go, at the end of the day is the mayor who must make those appointments coming out of the engagements with different parties. Whether the PA is in the executive with us or not, we have nothing to do with. We didn't appoint them. And actually it will help us to expose more factually the thuggery conduct, if there is such, in these municipalities and in those departments that they will be leading. Whether the ANC is in that executive or not is none of our business. They are not appointed by us. But it will help us to have the more insight and to factually take them head on, including pursuing some of the criminal charges against some of these people. I mean, the PA stories when they were leading what market? What? Johannesburg market. It was horrible, man. Horrible. I mean, it was alleged that Kenny Kunena will even want to sit in the management meetings. Such behavior, we can't allow that. And when we are in governance and in the executive committees, the workers, the managers, everybody else develops more confidence in us and share that information with us, and we can confidently expose such conduct which is unacceptable. Dunga is not going to resign from Ekurhuleni. I just announced that we are going to play some very significant role in the legislature and the executive of Ekurhuleni, and he will be one of the deployees of the EFF in Ekurhuleni. So when we say there are new development and therefore others must resign to give way for others so that you lead at all fronts, it does not automatically mean that those who are elected in the province must go to the legislature. You take them where you think they will have a meaningful impact, and we think that he will have a meaningful impact in the Ekurhuleni municipality. I think everybody has come to accept that the ANC is going to be below 40%. All research points to that direction. And it's for the opposition to consolidate. And again, we are going to see the DA staggerish and white supremacist conduct at that level. Because it is only the DA's racist attitude that can bring the ANC through the back door. If the DA says, let everybody come together, because the DA must come to accept that there is no way you can constitute government in the opposition without the EFF, whether they like it or not. So once you push away the EFF, you are opening a way for the ANC. Everywhere else you see the ANC coming through a back door and through all of these arrangements that gets to be made, is the DA that has refused the consolidation of the opposition parties. And it is the DA that must be blamed for all of these shenanigans, and lately joined by the IFP. Because the DA and the IFP have got some agreement they signed in Natal that looks suspicious, because the paper that appears on it, it's so dated, it looks like it was signed during apartheid, because it came together from long time ago. And they masquerade it as if it's a new agreement, but only to find that no, it's an agreement of collaborators. So the IFP is now fueling that, of disintegrating the opposition. When we were moving towards consolidating the opposition to the isolation of the ANC, with a hope that if we come together as the opposition, because we all campaigned on anti-corruption, job creation, and alternative method to run a sufficient, effective ESCOM, will provide those solutions to our people. No, they don't want. I mean, we don't have to be ideologically aligned. And I made this call in one of the rallies in 2021, that it doesn't matter whether you are extreme right or extreme left. When it comes to putting a tap in a yard of those people in Winnie Mandela's squatter camp, why should we not work together to put a tap there? We might have those ideological differences, if you wish, at national level. But when it comes to basic needs of our people, we should put our political and ideological differences aside and come together for the sake of our people. The EFF has done that. That's why it swallowed its pride and approached the DA, despite hating the DA and its politics. But the DA could not do that for the sake of our people. Well, as a political party, especially a leftist movement, consistent training of your cadres is very important, so that they become grounded on your ideological orientation and your policies. So it's important that we intensify political education. We have attracted more than 1 million members. And you know what we did in that process of attracting 1 million members? It looks like we also attracted criminals in Mkhonto, in Mkhonto municipality. Yes. Is Mkhonto? Yes. In Mkhonto, it looks like we enrated criminals that go to court to march in the EFF regalia, that a person who's charged criminally for murdering people there must be released. That is not our EFF. That's why you must take political education there to educate these new members about what does the EFF stand for. We don't stand for murderers. And after the Mpumalanga leadership gave us a reassurance that the person who's charged of murder in Mkhonto, that mayor, is not our member. The SG went to the membership system. He's not in our membership system. Why do you wear our T-shirts and go and support a suspected criminal? That's why political education is important consistently, so that it can eliminate potential criminals that we might have attracted amongst our ranks. The ANC will never end load shedding. The ANC will never end unemployment. The ANC will never give us any form of development, because the post-colonial governments that emerge out of liberation movements are bound to fail. Fanon teaches us about that. And the ANC, you can see that it was not hating apartheid, it was envying it, because they are continuing with everything else that apartheid did. You know, guys, let's go back to 1994. Without BEE, without anything. 1994, a democratic breakthrough. White business people went to fetch black people into their companies and said, let's work together, because they were seeing that democracy is here. But upon realizing that, man, these people are not what we thought they are, they chased every black person out, because they knew that these people envy us. They have no problem with us at all, continuing business as usual. So that's what happened. When Zuma came, for some reason, the white people were very scared of him and were amenable to ideas of BEE. When he left, they chased everything else of BEE, because they said, our man is now in charge and we don't need any of those things of the BEE. So modern white people being a problem, the problem is the ANC. The white people want policy certainty of where does this government stand on this. They will comply. White people respect authority, but authority must respect itself first. This authority does not respect itself. That's why it can be managed from kitchen cabinets, from Stellenbosch, because it doesn't have a self-respect. So the post-colonial governments are bound to fail, and ANC is one such example which is not going to give us anything. We are going to adjust the budget in Ekurhuleni. We are going to clean Tembisa. We are going to clean Katlewo. We are going to clean all of those townships that were neglected by the DA, and make sure that we provide reliable refuse removal programs in our communities. Some of the things don't need tenders. The yellow machines are there in the municipality. They are waiting for us to go and use them. And the EFF will use them. Remember that we don't follow the normal rules. We don't work according to how these people work. We are going to turn things around. Because we don't know. You know, ANC mayors and DA mayors, they are mayors when they give a speech. After the speech, they just become ordinary citizens. They don't know what's happening. They're not interested. They can pass a big illegal dumping every day without being concerned about that illegal dumping. They can pass a big pothole every day without being concerned about that big pothole. But they just gave a speech about it. They just gave a speech about it. So, you remember one day during the campaign, there was a sewer blockage or something in Dr. Ruth Mumpati, what is that town called? Oh. No, in Vryburg, where they found a sewer blockage there. He stopped there and said, I'm going to stop here until they come and fix this thing. I will never leave. They came and fixed it. To show that there was no problem of capacity. A mayor and a councillor pass that sewer every day. Why didn't the mayor do the same thing that Gwede did? Just stop there and say, I'm not going to leave here until those guys come to unblock this sewer. Gwede demonstrated to us. And that was a reason enough why we shouldn't have voted the ANC. Why should it take a guy from Kala to go to Vryburg to unblock a sewer system? That was the reason enough for Vryburg people not to vote for the ANC. That you don't have capacity. The Kala guy came to show you that this thing is possible to resolve it within a day. So, Gwede's demonstration is exactly what we are speaking about in the EFF. That some of these things don't need tenders. We were so happy when the Russian minister, foreign minister came. He was at home here. This is home, really. Russians have not done anything wrong to anyone. You have a problem, go and talk to NATO. It is the one that provoked Russia, and Russia, it is well within its right to defend itself. So the Russian foreign minister was at home. You should have looked at all the comments everywhere in the social media. Our people were so happy to have a Russian foreign minister here. So we are happy that they saw it befitting to respect us and to come to us as a way of saying we respect you and we want to give you some form of an explanation as to what is really happening in our country and all of that. We can't say the same about this one of Treasury of the USA, who was coming to steal our minerals and our wild life. I don't know what she was doing in those game farms and all of that, and the Reserve Bank, and she came here to monitor their puppet if he's following the instructions of surrendering the sovereignty of South Africa. So America can never be welcomed here in South Africa, in the African continent, because we know when they come here, they are coming to check what more can we steal and finish off this continent. So she was even going to Mpumalanga to go and run some symposiums or something on just transition and how renewables work. You can see that she was preparing to indoctrinate our people to abandon coal so that they can enjoy to build their own economies with our coal while we are swimming in darkness. We are not going to allow that. So she was not welcomed here. The CM of Ekurhuleni There are laws that they've pointed at which they said were adopted last year, which gives the CM powers under these circumstances to convene a sitting of the council. It is well within her rights. And the good thing with the CM of Ekurhuleni is that she's a no-nonsense woman. She doesn't go around pleasing anyone, and she doesn't budge to wrong things. She tells you if she's not comfortable with something that is not in line with what are her responsibilities. So, seated here, I've got no doubt that she would have thoroughly interpreted the law and done sufficient consultation with the legal advisors before she sent those invites for a council sitting. That's why the speaker is begging her to cancel the meeting. If the speaker was confident that she was doing something wrong, you know how the DA operates, they would have gone to court immediately without even talking to her. But they are now begging her through voice notes and all of that, trying to coerce her into postponing the meeting. That speaker of Ekurhuleni is postponing the inevitable, Shem. It's just a waste of time what he's doing. He's going, whether he likes it or not, it's done. On the 20th of March 2023, there will be a shutdown, and it is our right. We're talking about our rights. Don't ask us about other people's rights. Let them talk about their own rights. We're talking about ours now. We're responsible for our rights, and no one can stop us from exercising our rights. Go and ask them how they are going to exercise their rights under the circumstances. We are exercising our rights. There will be no school, there will be no university, there will be no factory, there will be no bus, no taxi, unless they are taking protesters to the picket lines. There will be no truck to Richards Bay. There will be no train to Richards Bay. There will be no big roads that will be operating on the 20th of March unless it's emergency services. And we are not threatened by any security because we do this peacefully. It's our right. And if they want to come and violate our rights, they will find us ready. No one is going to intimidate us. South Africa will come to a standstill. If Ramaphosa does not resign on the 20th of March, then what will happen will be announced on the 20th of March. But we never make pronouncement on the things that are not possible. Whether Ramaphosa likes it or not, he's a mess in this country. He's responsible for the crimes of Palapala. And it's not me who's saying that. It's the former Chief Justice who says there is a prima facie evidence for Ramaphosa to answer on Palapala. Why would you want to continue as a president after being found with dollars that are not declared to Reserve Bank and SARS? Why would you want? I asked Ramaphosa, I'm not speaking to you here because Ramaphosa is not here. When he called a meeting of political parties, everybody said this state has failed. And I said to him, everybody, including the ANC in this meeting, said the ESCOM has failed, the state has failed. They mean you because you are the presider of this failure. Why do you want to continue as a president? Everywhere else, if this EFF start declining and is dying under my leadership, I have to resign and allow someone else with capacity to take over this organization. Ramaphosa, I said to him, even if you have not done anything wrong in your mind, but evidence is all there that you have not done anything right. There's nothing that he has ever done since he took over that he has done right. So the regions of the EFF, the provinces of the EFF, commissars of the EFF must go to the pastors, must go to traditional leaders, must go to taxi associations, must go to the shop owners and all progressive South Africans to come and join the mother of all shutdowns. The July 2021 is 2020 of Zuma. Huh?
Yes, of Zuma, yes.
The unrest of Zuma is going to look like a Mickey Mouse. Musina, there will be nothing that is moving. From Musina to Cape Town, nothing will move except ambulances and hospitals, doctors and nurses and police, only emergency services. And emergency services include you who's asking about people's rights. You will be covering nicely the protest of the EFF on that day. We are unstoppable. South Africa has been waiting for too long. We are mobilizing every corner of our country. That is the beginning of bringing down the ANC and Ramaphosa. 20 March 2023 is a freedom day. Our freedom that was stolen by the criminals of the ANC shall be returned to the people of South Africa on the 20th of March 2023. Everywhere else we meet, progressive unions and all progressive professionals, we must all remind each other that freedom is coming on the 20th of March 2023. We are going to switch on the lights of South Africa because we are going to remove a man who switches off the lights of South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President. The message is clear. People of South Africa, 2023, 20 March, will meet on the streets. That concludes the press conference of the EFF. Thank you.
The relationship between the